Fear. When you really think about fear, what is it that first comes to your mind? Is it being alone? Is it the dark? Is it spiders or some other well-known phobia? Or does it have to do with something that surrounds the unknown? Is it subjective, or is it something that one wouldn't understand until there's a situation to where you would be scared? In order to truly understand what fear was, I decided to go ask a couple people their opinions while trying to figure it out for myself.
The way I understand it, fear is the emotional sort of conscious experience that comes out of the experience of stress. Stress is the bodily reaction, so increased adrenaline, increased heart rate, etc. The body reacting to a immediate danger. And then what arises out of that is a unique sort of human experience of fear. So the conscious saying, I'm scared. Often that is confused, so fear and stress are often confused with the idea of anxiety, and the way that I understand it is anxiety is something that's not tied to a direct danger. So for example, if I were to be chased by a big dog, that would evoke a stress response in my body, heart rate, adrenaline, etc., that would prepare me for sort of a fight or flight type of response. And then the conscious experience that I'm having the situation would be the fear response. And then later on, if I see a dog again, even if there's not an immediate threat, I might experience anxiety, which is the feeling of that same sort of feeling, but independent of an immediate sort of danger. So I think sometimes those three terms get used interchangeably, but my understanding of fear, technically speaking, is that it's the conscious emotional experience that rises out of a physiological stress response.
At that point, I realized that a scientific point of view was not exactly what I was looking for, so I decided to continue to search. Another idea popped up, and I thought, well, why don't I get the opinion of students on campus, and maybe even make fear a little more real by having them share an experience of their own. Since I have always been intrigued by the paranormal, I thought a good ghost story seemed to be the right path.
When I was a sophomore in college, I had a boyfriend, and he lived in a house in Edwardsville, and he lived in a really, really old house, and he was like, I swear this house is haunted, like it's so creepy and old. And one night we were just like sitting on his bed, and it started to shake, and I was like, stop moving your leg, like what are you doing? He's like, that's not me, that's the ghost, it's shaking the bed. And I was like, you're lying, like stop shaking your leg. And he's like, really, no. My roommates have said the same thing happened to them, and like it's the ghost is shaking the bed. And we were sitting there, and then the shaking stopped, and then the hangers in his closet started moving and like banging around, and we both just like looked at each other, and we're like, my stomach dropped. I was so scared. It was like the scariest thing ever. And I just like ran out of the room, and I was like, I can't be here anymore. This is so scary.
So my best friend and I went to Alton, which is like the third most haunted city in the country. And we went on a haunted Alton tour. And the last stop on the tour was at this church that's downtown. And the tour guide was like, what was that shadow? And we were all like looking around like, well, I don't know, no one's moving. He was like, well, that definitely wasn't part of the tour, and I don't know what that shadow was. He was like, I guess the ghost is out tonight or something. And so then we were scared going into it, obviously. And then he took us in the back room and told us like the whole typical ghost story and how the reverend hung himself. And we started feeling like cold and nauseous a little bit, so we moved out of the spot we were standing in. And then after the tour, he told us, he was like, most of the women usually feel nauseous or just like don't feel right. And he was like, were any of you guys feeling that way? And we were like, yeah, we were. Like, we felt sick to our stomach. Like, I thought I was going to throw up. He was like, yeah, I figured it would be you two because you're the youngest ones in the room, and the ghost usually haunts the youngest girls in the room. So after he told us that, we ran out of the church crying. I don't even like to drive on that street anymore past the church.
When I was 5 or 6 years old, living in Kirksville, Missouri, it was during the middle of the night. I was hearing scratching at my window. Pretty much I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it was a squirrel or something. I woke up and there was nothing there. And next thing you know, something kind of jerked me in a way. And I woke up and I saw like a shadow of a man. And it kind of rushed towards me, and I got a really bad cold chill, and I gasped for air. And of course, being a 5 or 6 year old, that really scares the crap out of you. and I screamed and I ran towards my parents' bedroom.
I don't know if you can really give a certain definition to fear, but I think fear is like the feeling of just being afraid, and I think it's like the worst feeling in the world. I hate being afraid, and I'm afraid of everything, I feel. I never watch scary movies. I do my best to not be afraid because I hate the feeling of fear.
Fear is like something that's unfamiliar and unknown, like when you just don't understand what's going on or what's going to happen. Whenever I can't tell what's going to happen next, that's something that would make the situation fearful.
With all this talk of Alton, Illinois, I decided to travel there with a crew, 3 cameras, and some audio equipment to see if I could have any on-site experiences myself. Although I am one to believe in the paranormal, I had a few doubts that the spirits were around all the time and not just when you wanted them to be. I met with the owners of McPike Mansion, and they took us around the property and even gave us a tool to communicate with the spirits that lived there. I figured that in order to truly embrace fear, especially of the unknown, I had to really experience something like this for myself. I hear some laughing.
Mm-hmm. It's like child or something.
It's a little child.
Are you the one that was holding my hand? Yeah, we have 2 little ones that are like you guys. Yeah. Christy.
Did you hear that? Is it someone related to Jordan? Yes. Is it her grandfather? Sorry. Is it her grandfather?
Is this the children's crypts?
Yes.
Is this where you guys play?
Ask him if it's okay for me to walk.
Is it okay for you guys to walk? For us to walk in here? Yes.
After being at McPike Mansion, I knew that there definitely were things out there. And although there were things that couldn't be explained, and there were many moments while there that I was absolutely terrified, I knew the definition of what fear truly was. Fear is something different to everyone. It can be something that won't let someone sleep at night, or it could be something fleeting like during a moment that makes you jump during a scary movie. Fear is a feeling that everyone feels, and no matter who you are or where you are, it's something that's in all of us and haunts us when we least expect it. Fear is the unknown. It's the phobias. It's beyond what we can imagine and something we don't have full knowledge of. Fear is the harsh reality that charges in and takes us when we least expect it. After my journey, that's what I discovered, and I challenge each and every person to go out and discover what fear means to them.